We are now inside the Garrett County Museum of History. This is one of the two front rooms of the History Museum, and both of the two front rooms have to do with the hotels and the B&O Railroad, plus a few other things displayed with them. This room has fabulous photography regarding all of the gigantic summer hotels. They were very, very popular, and with President Harrison, one of his terms, Deer Park Hotel was designated the Summer White House. So there is a lot of history in this room. I am standing in front of a settee that came from the Oakland Hotel. Many of the pictures and many of the silver pieces are from the hotels. A lot of them say Oakland Hotel or Deer Park Hotel. Behind me are huge numbers of photos from the hotel era dining rooms. Also, one of my favorites is the swimming pool at the Deer Park Hotel, 1870s, with a very thick glass roof and a big barricade down the center so that the ladies and men swam on different sides of the pool. No one was going to allow both sexes to be in one pool. The clothing is of the era of the hotels, quite a lot of it. Over here, all of these photos are hotels and boarding houses that once existed here. They're almost all gone. I think maybe two are left. In one case here, this showcase involves a lot of Oakland's first hotel, which was in the early 1850s as the B&O was preparing to build through town. It was called the Glades Hotel. It was burned. It burned in a fire in 1874. Some of its famous guests, Wild Bill Hickok, Annie Oakley, and the biggest of all, Jefferson Davis, who was then Secretary of Defense before the Civil War. And in all of these cases are artifacts from the various hotels, a top hat or two from the hotel era. The street lights are from the hotel era. And we find that people spend a lot of time in this room because there is so much history in here. The photo of the Oakland Hotel is a very rare photo, and it encompasses not just the architectural style of the hotel, but you can see its gas house in the lower left corner, and you can see our white cast iron urn about midway up on the right hand side. This hotel was built 3 years after Deer Park. It was never a great success. It only lasted maybe 30 years, but it was on a grand scale like Deer Park. But since all the important people stayed at Deer Park, nobody cared to stay at Oakland. So it had a strange history. You will see some other pictures of it as we go. I want to point out one dress. The dress in the closet that you see that's brown and tan, that was worn to a ball at the Deer Park Hotel by Mrs. Henry Gasaway Davis, very prominent West Virginia family who developed coal and lumber industries here. And of course, they are responsible for Davis and Elkins College. They had a home at Deer Park. Over here is the Loch Lin Hotel of the same era, built about 20 years after Oakland and Deer Park though. It is also a Victorian hotel, but for a different purpose. The community of Mountain Lake Park was a Chautauqua community that was very religious. And you could not gamble, dance, do anything much in Mountain Lake Park, but the Loch Lin Hotel took care of the other side. There's a famous quote, and every time I tell it I get in trouble, but I'm going to get in trouble again. It's Mountain Lake for Jesus' sake, Loch Lin for sin. So, sorry people from Loch Lin, but it happened. This picture, the hotel at Loch Lin was a beautiful, beautiful hotel, but it mysteriously burned in 1920, and of course that's when the hotel era was over, and so there's never been any definitive explanation, but that's what I can tell you. Right here, this display case is full of artifacts from the Deer Park Hotel and the Oakland Hotel. Both had very significant hotel china, of which we have many, many pieces, particularly of Deer Park. Up on top are also items from the Deer Park and Oakland hotels. Over in the corner, you'll see a picture in a Victorian frame of Mrs. Grover Cleveland. And she married him in the White House, much younger than the president. They came by train to Deer Park, where their wedding reception was held. We have a menu. It was brook trout, sort of apropos. We also have a campaign item for Grover Cleveland for president. And down below is the Harrisburg newspaper telling about the wedding party coming to Deer Park for the reception and for a week for the president and his bride. Above all this is what I would call the Grand Dame of Garrett County. That was the Deer Park Hotel. The center section was 1873, and the two wings were in the late mid-1880s, I think. It is a very, very accurate lithograph, except for the gas house down here at the bottom. As you saw, the gas house looks nothing like that. But as far as the architecture of the hotel and the circular driveway and one of the cottages in the background, there were about 10 or 12 beautiful cottages, and maybe 5 are still there, that were lived in by the wealthy back in this hotel era. The Deer Park Hotel sign is an original, also metal, porcelain, and apparently in the years of neglect it was used for target practice, but it's still nice to have. We're still thrilled we have it. I should mention the telephone. That's a very early Garrett County telephone, and it connected to DeBerry Farms here when telephones were first introduced. Actually, Alexander Graham Bell stayed in the Oakland Hotel, and he established the first telephone line in Garrett County. It ran from Oakland Hotel 6 miles east to Deer Park Hotel. Also, there are the rocking chairs from Deer Park Hotel. You have to come in and see this for yourself, because we have an amazing assortment of artifacts.